Hello. In this video, I want to show you how to use the Setup Workbench for Le Mans Ultimate. It's only a short introduction. There are longer videos which cover the full functionality. I will link those in the description. Um, yeah. Um, the Setup Workbench has been around for some time now and supports setup development for every simulator and every car, but setup editing and setup modifying by the artificial intelligence has only been usable in the past for Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione. Finally, I managed to understand the setup file format for Le Mans Ultimate and maybe probably in the future for R-Factor 2 as well. And yeah, let's see what you can do with it. If you start the Setup Workbench, you will see the screen. You can choose your simulator, your car, and probably a track, but the track is not so much important. And then the typical workflow is like you describe what handling issues you have with the car, and you will get recommendations how a setup have to be changed to remove those handling issues. Let's start with a simple example. We have understeer on corner entry of fast corners. And we might also have oversteer on corner exit of slow corners. So two very typical handling issues you will see on the track. And you can now fine-tune using these sliders how these handling issues affect you. The severity, this slider means when the problem occurs, how severe or massive it is. And the importance, this slider here means how often on the track it appears. So let's say, just for demonstration, the understeer issue is quite heavy, but is only in one corner. And the oversteer on corner exit of all corners, no, it shows in all corners almost, but yeah, you can handle it. It's not so hefty. So here you see now the relative importance of the different setup settings, which might be changed to work on these issues. As you can see here in the disclaimer, do not change all of them at the same time, but try to work you down from using the traction control, which of course will handle the oversteer issue on corner exit, but you may also increase the bump stop range or suspension travel a bit at the front and stuff like that. So this is already usable, so now you might go to your sim and change the setup manually, but now, as said, it's also possible to work on the setup directly using this tool here. We will now load a setup, which I had saved previously a Coach Dave setup for the McLaren 720S, and you will get a window which shows you the current settings of the setup, as you will also see it in Le Mans Ultimate in the setup area. You will also see here, just for information, the current settings in the very technical setup file format. And now you can work here on the settings, but more interesting is to let the system apply the recommended changes on its own. You have this apply button here, and you can choose how strong the application of the changes will be. Fully to the right means make big changes. Going more to the left means, okay, be a little bit careful, change more than by one click at a time, and so on. So let's apply it. Okay, you will see what have been changed. For example, the rear wing has been decreased a bit. The ride height has been made a little bit higher, and so on and so on. You can now save this setup as a new setup. Let's give it a name. CDA 720S 720S V2 V2, and you now can go back to the game. You must refresh the list of available setups by just clicking here and back, and there it is. So now you can load the setup, go to the track, and check whether the changes will help you as the system had proposed. Going back here. Other things you can do here, you can compare setups by choosing a different one. Let's take this one, although it's for a totally different car, but this is possible in Le Mans Ultimate and rFactor 2. You see how the settings differ here between the first setup, which is the original setup, and the second one, which is the setup for the 499p. And you can, and this is a very funny thing, make a mixture of both. For example, you have a good dry setup and you have a very stable wet setup, and you want to go to an endurance race in changing weather conditions. You can make a mixture of both setups by choosing the characteristics slider here. For example, if you move it to the left, you will get more characteristics of the first setup. And if you move it to the right, okay, of course, you will get more characteristics of the second setup. Then you can go leave the window with apply, and you will get the mixed or hybrid setup, as you can see here. A lot of changes to the original one. You can save it again, and so on and so on. Yeah, that's it. As already said, there are longer videos which go into much more detail. For example, there are tools here to work with car telemetry. You have a so-called analyzer which records handling issues while you are driving, and so on and so on. Lots of things to explore. Yeah, this new version for Le Mans Ultimate will be released by this Friday, so be sure to check it out. Thank you and have fun.